My upgrades are Invincible, Chapter 79, Fan Fiction, by Azazyel. As much as I wanted to fold Callie in half and put her into a mating press, right now wasn't the right time with how she needed to get her own fauna in, but a couple of minutes at most. So I stepped back from the catgirl MILF and said, "Well, this was an enlightening conversation and interaction. Especially learning you and Blake share an Amazon bloodline." Callie gave a throaty chuckle as she sat back up with her giving out a slight hum as she looked me over and said, I do hope you understand my goals and attention. Although Blake's blood of the homeland is even thinner, she will also probably seek you out for reproductive use, if she doesn't look to you for a relationship altogether." I raised an eyebrow at the words as they hit me. A relationship, huh? That could be interesting, I thought with a wry smile crossing my face. I was all too aware of how Tamamo and Tina did not at all have a healthy relationship with me. But either way, I shrugged and replied, "If such a thing comes about, we will see. I do have a bit of a thing going on with my teammates here in Melon, so that might make things complicated." Callie's ears twitched as she raised an eyebrow and asked curiously, "Oh. You already have a sorted relationship with two ladies, and you still took this bet with me?" And without a hint of shame, I looked down at Callie, and I smiled as I said, "I am strong and with greater potential. But yes, I did. Does my paramours have anything to do with me folding your legs behind your ears?" Those words finally made Callie flush as she waved a hand in front of her face as she whispered, "Okay then. Maybe you aren't just a young man I can play with." To that, I just chuckled as I took a seat on one of the padded seats in this large master bedroom and spoke. "Yeah, I don't plan on being a cougar's chew toy, no matter how hot you are, Callie. Anyway, here is what is going to happen. Tomorrow, you and Blake are going to mark down whatever armor and weapons you want, and this coming weekend we, including my two teammates, are going out onto the lake to kill monsters. My Blake would be a fresh level 1. I don't think that's a smart idea, Jake," Callie said slowly, and I shook my head with a snort escaping me. "I think you have something confused, Callie. Blake isn't going to be fighting on the ship platforms. I plan for her to have a couple crossbows to mess around with to pad out her stats to get started in going after more powerful monsters." I then pointed at Callie and I said bluntly, "You are honestly the bigger issue. Your fauna is fucked. What was your highest stat letter when you leveled up?" I asked with annoyance. The MILF gave a frown at my tone, but she bit out, "My agility and dexterity at a higher D rank. I never could get a grimoire, so I have no magic." I brushed a hand across my face as I held in a mental scream. As her stats were utterly fucked, to say the least, and I honestly wanted Hephaestus to wipe her fauna clean if she could do so. But thankfully, I did have some workarounds with my fusion ability. I could force-feed the bitch all the fauna-filling vitamins, make her wear the fauna-touching weights I made with Hephaestus blood, and make her fight more monsters. Maybe I could even make some kind of illusionary helmet like my Eldritch helmet that gave everyone who survived it mage sight. With that new helmet allowing the wearer to fight bosses or something in their minds to gain more high-quality excelia. I looked directly at Callie and I said bluntly, "Callie, your fauna is fucked. I can help you become stronger, but it is going to be hard on you no matter what method I use." There was a pause before Callie shook her head and said with a small chuckle at the end, "I am not too worried about being strong. I just want to level up to extend my lifespan and keep feeling young afufu." And I couldn't argue against that. I had no right to tell someone they needed to smash their face into the wall, that was becoming a high-tier adventurer. However, there was no denying that I respected Callie a good bit less for her desire to remain a weaker adventurer. Before I could say anything, however, I heard a series of thumping noises, and I realized it was Blake who was locked inside the vanishing cabinet. So I said, "All right, Callie, time for you to get patched over. Once you are done, go ahead and go back to Blake as I plan to get to sleep early." Callie simply nodded as I escorted her to the vanishing cabinet, and then I opened it up to allow Blake to leave so Callie could climb in. And then after a short conversation about her getting her own falna, Blake quickly retreated back to her own room as she was clearly exhausted from the night's activities of being freed from slavery and getting her own falna. I needed to get some good sleep for tomorrow after all. I was going to be getting my grimoire, playing around with materia, and God knows what else was on the menu for me to be doing.